Have you ever felt the uneasy tension when both you and someone you love go completely silent? What if the very silence that terrifies you is actually hiding a profound opportunity? Imagine turning this quiet standoff into the catalyst for your greatest transformation. A silent standoff of emotions. Picture this. You take a step back after a breakup, firmly sticking to the no-contact rule. No texts, no calls. You're playing it cool and focusing on yourself. But then a thought strikes you with chilling clarity. She's doing the exact same thing. The silence stretches on day after day. What started as a subtle tension builds into a nagging anxiety. As hours turn into days and days into weeks, doubt creeps in. You wonder, is she thinking about me? Or has she already moved on? Is she testing me? Or does she even care at all? The not knowing feels unbearable, like fighting a battle without any idea of the rules. You catch yourself nearly breaking the silence, convinced that reaching out is the only way to regain control. But stop right there. That impulse is exactly where most people go wrong. Here's the truth. Her no contact isn't just a passive reaction to yours. It's a deliberate move, a calculated action designed to shift the balance of power. But here's the thing. Silence only has power if you allow it to. What if I told you that this uncomfortable quiet isn't your enemy at all? In fact, it might be your greatest ally. This moment of silence, as painful as it feels, is actually your greatest opportunity to grow. Instead of seeing it as a torture chamber of uncertainty, you can choose to see it as a crucible for forging a stronger you. No contact is more than just ignoring each other or playing mind games. It's a psychological and emotional battleground, and the battle is won within. In this silent standoff, it's not about who breaks first or who wins the breakup. It's about something much more profound: your personal mastery, resilience, and growth. Detachment and self-mastery. The Stoic approach. No contact is not about winning or losing against another person. It's about winning mastery over yourself. The ancient Stoics understood this well. They had a saying, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. In other words, the only things you truly control are your own thoughts, feelings, and actions, not what your ex is thinking or doing. When you fully internalize this truth, something powerful happens. The silence stops being her test of your patience and becomes your test of self-control and resilience. Why does silence feel so uncomfortable anyway? Why does the absence of a phone notification stir up so much anxiety? The answer lies in attachment. When you're desperately attached to someone's responses or validation, you've handed them the keys to your inner world. Every moment of silence becomes filled with fear and insecurity because you need something from her. A reply, a sign, anything to reassure you of your worth. No contact forces you to confront this painful attachment. It's a crash course in detachment, the core of Stoic strength. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring about the person. It means you stop depending on them for your happiness and self-worth. It means standing firm in the knowledge that your value doesn't diminish just because her name isn't popping up on your phone. This mindset is the foundation of Stoic resilience, remaining calm and composed no matter what storm is raging outside. When you embrace detachment, the silence that once tortured you starts to feel different. Instead of a void of uncertainty, it becomes a space for you to breathe and regain your center. Think about it. When was the last time you felt completely at peace within yourself, without needing anyone else to validate that feeling? That sense of inner peace is exactly the goal here. No contact isn't about making her miss you. It's about giving yourself space to rediscover your own strength. It's a period of reset, where you step back not to punish her or play hard to get, but to reclaim your personal power. The dark psychology of silence. Scarcity, unpredictability, mystery. Let's add another layer to this with a bit of psychology. In any relationship dynamic, the person who is the most composed and least reactive often has the upper hand. Right now, her silence might feel like a direct challenge, and in some ways, it is. But it's also revealing her hand. If she's deliberately holding back, it means she understands the psychological impact of silence. Here's how the dark psychology of no contact can actually work in your favor. Scarcity. Humans are wired to value what is scarce. When something or someone's attention is always available, we take it for granted. But when it's gone, we suddenly realize how much it meant. By staying silent, you've suddenly made your presence a scarce resource. The attention and energy you used to give her freely are now absent, and trust me, that void will be noticed. People often don't realize the value of something until it's no longer there. Your silence creates a contrast to the past, and that contrast can spark curiosity and longing on her side. In this sense, silence can speak louder than words. Unpredictability. We are creatures of habit. We find comfort in the predictable. If she's used to you being the first to text, call, or always be available, your sudden radio silence is disrupting her expectations. This unpredictability can be a powerful emotional trigger. She might start to wonder, what's he thinking? Has he moved on? Why isn't he reacting like he used to? When you break the old pattern, you create uncertainty. And in relationships, a little uncertainty can ignite intrigue. Remember, the unexpected is exciting. By remaining calm and not reacting, you've become a wild card in her eyes. And the person who is harder to read often holds more psychological influence. Mystery. The less you reveal, the more people want to know. It's human nature to fill in blanks with our own imagination. When you offer no new information, no updates, no emotional outbursts, no pleas for contact, you become a bit of a mystery. Silence is like a blank page, and she may start writing her own narratives about you. Is he busy improving himself? Is he out meeting someone new? Is he really as strong as he seems? This aura of mystery can be magnetizing. In the realm of dark psychology, mystery creates attraction. By not explaining yourself or seeking closure with her right now, you leave the door open for her mind to wander and wonder. Now, here's the important caveat. None of these psychological advantages work if your silence comes from a place of desperation, rage, or pure manipulation. If you're sitting there staring at your phone, counting the days, seething or begging internally for her to reach out first, you're missing the point entirely. True power doesn't come from playing mind games. It comes from genuine detachment. Your silence has to originate from inner strength and self-respect, not from a scheming attempt to make her do something. So, how do you harness the power of silence effectively? By shifting all that focus and energy away from her and back onto yourself. This quiet period is a golden opportunity to build your life, to become the most grounded, confident, and magnetic version of you. When your silence stems from confidence instead of insecurity, it carries a completely different energy. It's the difference between, I'm ignoring you because I'm hurt and hoping you'll throw me a bone, and I'm giving us both space because I'm busy building myself and I know my worth. One vibe is desperate. The other is powerful. Which do you think is more attractive? Why is she also staying silent? Understanding her perspective. It's easy to assume the worst. She hasn't contacted me, so she must not care. But her silence might not mean what you think. Let's explore a few possibilities for why she could be doing no contact as well. And remember, these are her reasons, not reflections of your worth. Mirroring your behavior. One of the simplest explanations is that she's mirroring you. If you went silent, she might interpret it as a signal that you need space, or as a challenge to see who can hold out longer. This isn't necessarily a power play born of malice. It can be a natural, even subconscious reaction. People often mirror the actions of others in uncertain situations. She may be thinking, if he's not reaching out, I won't either. In this case, her silence is a response, not an initiative. It doesn't mean she's indifferent. It means she's watching and taking cues from you. Self-preservation and healing. She might be using no contact for her own healing process. Breakups and relationship pauses hurt both sides. Perhaps she's taking time to reflect on the relationship, to lick her wounds, or to rebuild her own confidence. In this light, her silence is less about you and more about her. Just as you're trying to stay strong and composed, she might be doing the same for herself. It's possible she's grappling with emotions and needs distance to sort them out. No contact isn't just something you decided on. She might have personally decided that she needs it too. Testing your resolve. Here's where a bit of dark psychology might come into play from her side. Sometimes, one partner will intentionally hold back contact to test the other's reaction. She could be wondering if you'll crack and chase her, which would tell her a lot about where you stand emotionally. If she reaches out and you ignore her, the power shifts one way. If you reach out first, it shifts another. By doing nothing, she's essentially gathering data. It's a way to gauge your emotional strength and see if you truly meant it when you said you needed space. This might seem a little manipulative, but it's not uncommon, especially if she's uncertain about your feelings. Regaining a sense of control. If at any point she felt like she was losing control in the relationship, maybe you were pulling away previously, or she felt taken for granted, going silent could be her way of resetting the balance. When emotions run high, stepping back is a form of self-empowerment. By not contacting you, she reasserts control over her side of the story. It's her way of saying, I won't beg for your attention. I have my own strength. In this scenario, her no contact is about reclaiming dignity and agency, not about punishing you. Watching who you become. This one is crucial and often overlooked. She might be waiting and observing to see how you handle yourself in this silence. In the space that no contact provides, both people are forced to reflect on who they were in the relationship and who they are without it. If you've been using this time wisely, growing, improving, and becoming more grounded, that energy will be palpable even from afar. She could be curious. Is he changing? Is he improving himself or falling apart? Her silence could be giving both of you time to grow individually. And if she's at all interested in a future with you, she might be hoping to see a stronger, more self-aware man emerge from this quiet period. The important thing to realize is that her silence is hers. It reflects her mindset, her coping mechanism, or her strategy, not a verdict on you. So, what do you do with this insight? Let her silence be hers. Don't obsess over decoding every hour of her quiet. Don't stalk her social media looking for clues, or drive yourself crazy imagining worst-case scenarios. Over-analysis is your enemy here. Every moment you spend dissecting her motives is a moment you've lost focusing on yourself. Accept that her actions are outside of your control, and bring your attention back to the only thing firmly in your control: how you respond and who you choose to become during this time apart. The danger of chasing versus the power of composure. When faced with this kind of deafening silence, many people make a critical mistake. They break and start chasing. The anxiety builds to a breaking point, and they send that late-night text or make that phone call just to check in. It's an understandable impulse. You're human, and you crave closure or reassurance. But here's the hard reality. The moment you start chasing, you surrender the narrative of strength you've been building. Think of it this way. By chasing, You're essentially announcing that her silence has power over you. You're saying, "My emotions are at your mercy." All the inner work and composure can be undone with one, "I miss you. Please talk to me." Message sent in panic. Instead of you steering your own ship, you've just handed her the wheel. Stoic philosophy teaches that the only true control we have is over ourselves. The second you hand that control to someone else, by reacting impulsively to their behavior, you lose your footing. It takes bravery to resist the urge to chase. The Stoics often spoke of courage in quiet terms. There's a saying, "He who is brave is free." In this context, bravery means having the courage to sit with discomfort and uncertainty without reacting out of fear. When you think about it, chasing isn't an act of courage, it's an act of fear. Fear of losing her, fear of being forgotten, fear of the unknown. It's like grabbing at the reins wildly because you're scared of the direction things might be heading. But when you stay composed and hold your ground, you send a very different message. You silently communicate, "I am enough as I am. I don't need to beg or force anything." Imagine two versions of you. One is frantically texting or calling, driven by panic, effectively saying, "Please relieve my anxiety. I can't handle this silence." The other version of you takes a deep breath, puts the phone down, and says to himself, "I can handle this. I won't let fear control me." Which version is more attractive? Which one respects himself more? The answer is clear. Now, let's be practical. What actually happens when you don't chase? In the immediate sense, yes, you're still left with uncertainty, but you also retain your dignity. You keep control of your story. That silence, which felt like an enemy, starts working for you as an ally. By not chasing, you create an atmosphere of confidence and strength around you. You come across as someone who is unshaken, someone who respects himself enough not to beg for attention. Remember the psychological triggers we talked about: scarcity, unpredictability, mystery. By staying composed, you embody all three. You become a person of intrigue, the one who isn't blowing up her phone like everyone else might in this situation. The key here is intent. Not chasing isn't about playing a hard-to-get game to manipulate her feelings. It's about genuinely choosing self-respect over fear. When you hold back from chasing, do it because you trust that whatever is meant for you will come in its own time, and you refuse to compromise your self-worth in the meantime. Paradoxically, this mindset often makes you far more compelling. There's nothing more attractive than someone who isn't desperate. By showing you won't crumble under pressure, you demonstrate a quiet confidence that is magnetic. It tells her and the world, "I'd love for things to work out, but I won't lose myself if they don't." One hard truth you must remember: chasing doesn't actually bring the outcome you want any faster. In fact, it can delay or destroy it. If she's doing no contact to reflect or to test your strength, you breaking down and contacting her too soon only confirms any doubt she had. It might signal that you haven't grown, that you can't handle your emotions, or that your needs come before patience. On the other hand, if you hold firm and stay true to your path, you prove through actions that you're someone who doesn't collapse when things get tough. That impression is powerful and lasting. In short, resisting the chase is an act of strength. It's not passive waiting. It's an active choice to stand tall. Each day you don't reach out in desperation. You reinforce a vital truth. You are in control of you, and that's enough. This composure under pressure sets the stage for everything that comes next, whether it's reconciliation or simply your own continued growth. Building unshakable emotional fortitude. By now, it's clear that emotional strength is the key to surviving this standoff with your sanity and dignity intact. But emotional fortitude isn't something you either have or you don't. It's something you build. Think of this silent period as a training ground for your inner strength. Every challenge is an opportunity to practice resilience. The philosophy of Stoicism offers some time-tested tools to help you thrive in the face of uncertainty and remain grounded no matter what she does or doesn't do. 1. Focus on what you can control. This is the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. You cannot control whether she texts you today, tomorrow, or ever. You cannot control what she thinks of you or what she's doing right now. What you can control is how you respond to this situation. You control your attitude, your daily actions, and the thoughts you choose to entertain. The stronger you become internally, the less her silence or anyone's actions will shake you. Remind yourself daily, is this within my control? If not, let it go. The Stoic teacher Epictetus put it perfectly. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You have zero control over her silence, but total control over your mind. Claim that control. 2. Negative visualization. This might sound counterintuitive, but it's a powerful Stoic practice. Take a moment to calmly imagine the worst-case scenario. In this context, that might be, what if she never reaches out again? What if this chapter with her is truly over? Sit with that thought. It might hurt and stir sadness or fear, but don't shy away from it. By facing the worst in your mind, you rob it of its terror. You might realize that even if the worst happens, even if she's gone for good, you will still be okay. Life will go on, and so will you. This exercise isn't meant to depress you. It's meant to build resilience. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." By confronting your fears in your imagination, you prevent them from controlling you in reality. You're training your mind to understand that you can handle whatever outcome, no matter how painful, and keep living. 3. Journaling your emotions. When the silence grows heavy and your thoughts start racing, one of the best things you can do is pour your feelings onto paper. Grab a notebook or a notes app and write down exactly what you're feeling and thinking. Are you angry? Confused? Missing her? Write it out in raw, unfiltered form. Journaling brings clarity to the emotional chaos. It's like holding up a mirror to your own mind. Over time, you'll notice patterns. Maybe you feel anxious at night, or perhaps certain memories trigger you. Recognizing these patterns is the first step to managing them. Plus, the act of writing is cathartic. It releases pressure, so you're less likely to act out of emotion in the heat of the moment. If you make journaling a habit, you might be surprised at how much more in control of your feelings you become, day by day. 4. Mindfulness and presence. The Stoics believed in being fully present, no matter the circumstance. When you catch yourself spiraling, your mind running off into 100 what-if scenarios about her, practice bringing your focus back to right now. A simple way is through deep breathing. Close your eyes and take a slow, deep breath, feeling the air fill your lungs. Then exhale, just as slowly. Do this a few times. As you breathe, remind yourself, the only thing that truly exists is this present moment. The past is gone. The future isn't here yet. By anchoring yourself in the present, you pull your mind out of that anxiety-filled fog of past regrets and future worries. Mindfulness can be as simple as paying full attention to whatever you're doing right now, whether it's eating a meal, hitting the gym, or even taking a shower. When you are present, the power of those imagined fears diminishes. 5. Amor fati, love your fate. This might be the most transformative Stoic practice of all. Amor fati means love of fate. It's an attitude that embraces everything that happens, good or bad, as necessary parts of your journey. This is radical acceptance. If she's also doing no contact, embrace it instead of resisting it. Tell yourself that this experience, as confusing or painful as it is is serving a purpose in shaping you. Maybe it's teaching you patience or resilience, or showing you areas where you still need to grow. When you start to view the situation as happening for you instead of to you, your whole outlook changes. Each day of silence becomes a training day for strength. Every pang of longing becomes a reminder to practice gratitude for what you do have, like supportive friends, interests, health, etc. Loving your fate doesn't mean you're jumping for joy that she's not calling. It means you accept that this is the reality, and you choose to extract meaning and growth from it. As Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, the obstacle itself, in this case, the silence, becomes the path to progress. Ask yourself, are you willing to use this quiet time to build an unshakable emotional foundation? Strength isn't something we're born with. It's something we cultivate. Day by day, practice by practice, you are fortifying your inner self. And remember, the real purpose of no contact is not changing her, it's changing you. If you emerge from this period emotionally stronger, more self-aware, and more at peace, then it has served its purpose, no matter what ultimately happens with her. When you build this kind of emotional fortitude, nothing, not her silence, not anyone's actions, will be able to knock you off balance easily. You become the eye of the storm, calm, centered, and strong, even when chaos swirls around you. Responding strategically instead of reacting. By now you might be wondering, this is all well and good for my personal growth, but what am I supposed to do about the situation? Do I just sit here forever? Excellent question. The beauty of no contact is that inaction, when it comes to contacting her, is the action for now. But that doesn't mean you're doing nothing. You are responding rather than reacting. There's a big difference. First and foremost, resist the urge to impulsively break the silence. This cannot be overstated. Your silence in itself is a powerful statement. It quietly says, I respect myself and you enough to give us both the space to reflect. If you break that silence in a moment of weakness, the message flips to, I'm not in control, my fears are. Every day that you hold the line, you reinforce the idea that you will not be controlled by anxiety or her actions. Breaking no contact because of panic or impatience essentially hands control back to her and to your own fears. You lose the high ground you've been standing on. Remember, self-control is strength. It might help to literally remind yourself when you're tempted to reach out. If I act out of fear or insecurity right now, I'm giving up my power. Nothing is more important than maintaining your self-respect. While you're not contacting her, shift your focus to what you're projecting to the world, whether or not she can see it. This is the time to level up in every area of life possible. Pour your energy into your physical health. Exercise, eat well, maybe try that sport or activity you've been curious about. Sharpen your mindset. Read books that inspire you. Learn new skills. Explore philosophies, like Stoicism, that strengthen you mentally. Invest in your career or passions. Channel your feelings into productivity or creativity. Reconnect with friends and family. Solidify your support network and have some fun to remind yourself that life has joys outside of one relationship. The point is not to do all these things as tricks to make her jealous by flaunting your awesome life. The point is to actually live an awesome life for yourself. When you live fully and purposefully, not only do you feel better, but that energy radiates outward and can't help but be noticed by others, including her if she's paying attention. Now, let's talk about timing and the possibility of reconnecting. If and when the time comes to speak again, let it happen naturally. Maybe one day she will reach out to you. Perhaps she sends a simple, "Hey, how've you been?" text out of the blue. If that happens, remember everything we've discussed. Do not leap on the phone and respond within milliseconds as if you've been waiting by the screen. Even if you have, take your time. Breathe. You are in control of yourself, remember? There's no need for games, but there is a need for composure. When you do reply, do so calmly and confidently. You might say, "Hi, it's nice to hear from you. I've been doing well. How about you?" You acknowledge your outreach, but you're also subtly showing that you weren't falling apart, even if some days you felt like you were. Maintain that sense of self-worth in every interaction. Your tone should say, "I'm open to talking, but I'm also perfectly fine on my own." What if you feel the time is right to initiate contact after a long period of silence? Maybe you've hit a personal milestone, or enough time has passed that you've gained the clarity and detachment we've been talking about. If you choose to reach out, keep it simple and genuine. You don't need a grand apology or a dramatic confession of love. Those things might feel overwhelming or pressuring to the other person. Instead, a casual, thoughtful message is best. For example, "Hey, I was cleaning up and found that book you recommended me a while back. Made me think of you. Hope you're doing well." Or, "Hi, I hope you've been doing okay. I've been reflecting on everything and just wanted to send you good vibes." The key is a light touch, something that shows you care and remember, but also that you're reaching out from a place of openness, not neediness. You're not demanding a response or trying to dive into heavy relationship talk right away. You're just opening the door a crack in a respectful way. Whatever happens next, stay detached from the outcome. This is crucial. If she responds positively and a conversation sparks, great. Continue to take it step by step. If she gives a short reply or doesn't respond at all, accept it and step back again. No expectations means no unnecessary disappointment. Stoicism teaches us to put our effort into actions and intentions we can be proud of, but not to tether our happiness to results we can't control. You can't make her reply, or meet up, or rekindle anything. You can only extend a hand. The rest is up to both of you. By keeping your cool regardless of her response, you show immense maturity. This strategic, patient approach also leverages something psychologists call contrast. The majority of people handle breakups in silence poorly. They plead, they spam messages, they might even get angry or beg. By remaining calm, confident, and patient, you automatically stand out from the crowd. Your behavior becomes intriguing because it's relatively rare. It signals that you possess strength, self-control, and emotional intelligence. Those qualities are universally attractive and command respect. So, are you willing to approach this situation with a strategy rooted in strength instead of emotions rooted in panic? Remind yourself, I respond, I don't react. Every move you make, or choose not to make, should come from a place of empowerment, not insecurity. Responding strategically isn't about trying to control her or play 5D chess with her mind. It's about controlling yourself, the one thing you can control, and in doing so, positioning yourself as a man of value and dignity. In that self-control lies your greatest power, regardless of how things unfold. Let go of the outcome and trust the process. It's time for a mindset shift. Stop viewing getting back together as the sole victory here. Reconnecting with her, if it happens, should be a byproduct of all the personal growth you've achieved, not the only reason you're doing no contact. This is where a lot of people trip up. If every single day of silence you're just counting down to some reunion or desperately hoping for a specific result, then you're not actually detached. You're emotionally glued to an outcome you can't control. Consider this. If your entire focus during no contact is, how long until she comes back? What can I do to ensure she returns? Then you're still living in reaction to her. Your life is still revolving around her actions. That means, in a strange way, you're still in contact, at least mentally and emotionally. The Stoics would gently remind you that your efforts should be directed inward, rooted in virtue and self-mastery, not in manipulating someone else's choices. True power and true peace lies in being content with whatever happens, because you know you've handled yourself with integrity and strength. Think of it like tending a garden. You can water the soil, ensure it gets sunlight, pull the weeds, and provide all the care possible. These are your actions and self-improvements. But you cannot force a seed to sprout or a flower to bloom. That's the outcome with her. It will grow or not grow in its own time. If you've done everything you can for yourself, you can rest easy knowing that whatever the garden yields is, in a sense, meant to be. You've done your part. This perspective frees you from the mental prison of what if? What if she never calls? What if she's moved on? Those questions start to lose their bite when you realize that your worth and your future are not hanging on her singular decision. Instead of asking, what if she doesn't come back? Start asking, who am I becoming through this? When you shift the focus of the narrative from her back to you, something incredible happens. You begin to rebuild your sense of self, independent of the relationship. You remember, or discover, who you are outside of being her boyfriend or ex or would-be partner. You start to see your own value as something that's always been there, not something that exists only when reflected in her eyes. And here's an ironic twist of fate that life often throws at us. It's often when you truly let go of the need for someone that they are most likely to return. Why? Because people are naturally drawn to those who are whole, confident, and self-sufficient. Neediness repels, self-possession attracts. When you reach a place where you can honestly say, I hope it works out, but I'm okay if it doesn't. I've grown, and I'll be fine either way. You emit a kind of quiet confidence that is very appealing. It's at that point, when you're no longer chasing or hinging your happiness on her, that she may very well sense the shift in you. If and when she does reconnect, it will be because she's genuinely intrigued by the man you've become, not because you begged her to come back. Try reframing this silence as a gift rather than a void. It's a chance for you to reflect deeply on the relationship. What things did you do well? What could you have done better? What truly wasn't working between you two? And importantly, what do you want in the future, whether with her or with someone else? Use this time to set standards for yourself and for your relationships. Sometimes in the pain of loss, we gain crystal clarity on what we value most and what we will no longer tolerate, both in others and in our own behavior. This kind of insight is incredibly valuable. It means that even if this relationship doesn't resume, you're going into your next chapter much wiser and more prepared to build a healthy, fulfilling connection, wherever that may be. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher-emperor, wrote something to the effect of, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Your longing for contact, this seemingly immovable obstacle, is actually the way forward for your growth. Her silence isn't in your way. In a strange way, it is showing you the way. It's directing you inward, pushing you to cultivate patience, strength, independence, and a deeper love for yourself. Can you trust this process? Can you have a little faith that if you do the work on you, the outcome, whatever it ends up being, will be the right one? Let go of trying to control the result and focus on controlling what you can, your mindset and actions. You might even say to yourself as a mantra, "What is meant for me will not pass me." If she truly is meant to be in your life, this period of growth will only strengthen the bond in the long run. If she isn't, then no amount of fretting would have changed that, and you're still left in a better place because you've grown so much. Reconnection is a possibility, yes, but it is not the goal. The goal is to become the strongest, most authentic version of yourself. That outcome is guaranteed to benefit you no matter what, and no one can ever take it away from you. Keep your eyes on that prize, and you'll find that you worry less about what she's doing and more about what you're doing. Ironically, That's the very shift that may lead her back to you. But even if it doesn't, you've still won something far more important. You've got yourself back. Turning silence into strength. Your transformative power move. So here you are, still in the quiet. But now, instead of trembling in that silence, you might sense a new resolve building inside. You're not here just to survive this period. You're here to transform through it. What if this situation that once felt like a crushing loss is actually the perfect setup for a powerful comeback, a redefinition of who you are? This is where you turn the tables and make this silence your secret weapon. Let's acknowledge a simple truth. Silence can feel like weakness. It can feel like you're doing nothing while your heart is doing backflips. But when you approach it the right way, silence becomes your greatest strength. Every single day that you don't react out of anger or desperation, every day you resist checking her social media or sending that "I miss you" text, you are training yourself. You're getting stronger, more resilient, more composed. It's like an emotional workout, and you are absolutely going to love the shape you're in when it's over. 1. Embrace unpredictability. Earlier, we talked about how your newfound calm can make you unpredictable in her eyes, and that's a good thing. Now, you should embrace the unpredictability of life as well. Be open to the idea that the future might look different from what you imagined, and that can be exciting. Stop being the person she expects you to be. Perhaps in the past, she expected you to always be available, to answer every text in seconds, or to get jealous easily. Maybe she thought she knew your next move. Well, not anymore. Without any malice or game playing, you simply evolve beyond the old patterns. You might suddenly stop posting on social media about how miserable you are because you're busy living life. Or if you bump into her, you're genuinely polite and upbeat instead of awkward or bitter. These changes create an air of mystery around you. Wow, he's different, in a good way. Keep her and others guessing, not by faking anything, but by genuinely growing into someone who cannot be pigeonholed by the past. 2. Level up in every area. Use this time to become a higher value man than you were yesterday. This isn't about competing with anyone else. It's about bringing forth your own potential that perhaps got sidetracked during the relationship. Were there hobbies or passions you left on the back burner? Revive them. Is your fitness not where you want it to be? This is the perfect time to get into the best shape of your life. Endorphins from exercise will boost your mood and confidence too. Did you have goals that got lost in the shuffle? Set them afresh and start tackling them, step by step. Read those books gathering dust. Pick up new skills. Focus on your work or studies with renewed vigor. When you invest in yourself fully, 2 things happen. Your confidence soars, and you send a powerful message to anyone watching. I am thriving, not just surviving. Even if she doesn't see it directly, you will know it, and it will radiate from you in countless subtle ways. 3. Practice authentic detachment. Real power, as we've said, lies in detachment. Here's a nuance though. Detachment doesn't mean acting cold or shutting your heart down forever. It means you stop clinging. You let go of the desperate grip on how things must turn out. The Stoics believe that the less you depend on external circumstances for your happiness, the freer and stronger you become. So continue to care, but don't cling. Care about her well-being? Sure, you can still care, but you're not relying on her texts or her validation to feel good about yourself each day. When you detach from needing her to behave a certain way, you become untouchable. Think of it like becoming emotionally bulletproof, not in a way that you don't feel, but in a way that other people's actions can't derail your sense of self. Your silence then is no longer a waiting game for her to validate you. It's a deliberate choice to honor yourself and what you need to do right now, which is focus on your growth. 4. Stay true and unpredictable. Being unpredictable doesn't mean you should be erratic or pretend to be someone you're not. In fact, you should be authentic now more than ever. The unpredictability we're talking about comes naturally when you stop trying to mold yourself to others' expectations. Share parts of your life that you're proud of or excited about, but do it for you. Maybe you post a photo of a new hiking spot you discovered, or you casually mention to a mutual friend that you've started volunteering or working on a side business. Do these things without the ulterior motive of getting a reaction from her. Do them because they enrich you. If word gets around to her, fine. If not, it doesn't matter. You're still leveling up. By living fully and authentically, you'll likely create some intrigue. She might think, wow, he's really moving forward. That's interesting. But even if she doesn't notice, you'll be building a life that you find interesting. And that's what counts. 5. Be ready for a different dynamic. Let's say she eventually reaches out, or you two slowly start communicating again. This is the moment of truth. All the growth you've undergone, this is when you show up as that new man. Don't fall back into old patterns. If you used to argue over trivial things, demonstrate patience and understanding now. If you used to be insecure, show your calm confidence now. Let her feel the difference. She should sense that you're not resuming the same old dance. You're inviting her to a new one, where you lead with strength and respect. You might respond to her texts a bit more slowly, not out of a tactic, but because you're genuinely not glued to your phone these days. When you talk, you have new stories to share, new insights you've learned. This will likely be refreshing and even surprising for her. Change, when it's real, is evident, and it's attractive. The goal is not to impress her with a checklist of improvements. It's to naturally let her see that you've grown and that you value yourself. Whether that reignites her attraction or simply earns her admiration, either is a win because you've improved for you. Ask yourself honestly, am I ready to turn this silence into my strongest move yet? Because that's what this is, a power move, but one done with grace and authenticity. You're not just waiting in the sidelines, you're actively growing. This isn't a passive freeze, it's an active metamorphosis. Every moment of it is an opportunity to become a man who is more confident, emotionally intelligent, and grounded. And here's the best part. You are doing this for yourself, above all. Whether or not she comes back into the picture, you will have leveled up in life. Remember, this is not a game where you're trying to out-silence her or trick her back. It's a journey where you win no matter what. Either she reaches out and finds a new, improved you, and maybe you reconnect on much healthier terms, or she doesn't, and you still have a new, improved you, along with the freedom to attract someone who appreciates the man you've become. That is what we call a win-win. Your silence, your strength. So, what happens if she's also doing no contact? The answer, in essence, is simple. You let her. Let her make that choice, and you continue making yours, which is to turn silence into strength. This isn't about two people passively waiting each other out in some romantic stalemate. It's about one person, you, actively growing, regardless of what the other person does. You're not waiting for her to make a move, and you're not plotting one big grand gesture to force a reaction. You've stepped into a version of yourself that doesn't need to chase or beg or prove his worth, a version of you that knows his worth. This man you're becoming is someone who won't break under pressure, who won't crumble just because someone else isn't validating him. The key takeaway here is that no contact is not a punishment for her. It's an opportunity for you. It's a sacred time to build emotional fortitude, to reclaim the power you may have lost in the relationship, and to embrace a life where your self-esteem isn't tied to the whims of another's actions. Whether she texts you tomorrow, next month, or never, you are going to walk away from this experience stronger, wiser, and more aligned with the man you're meant to be. The Stoics always encouraged focusing on virtue over outcome, and that wisdom holds true now. Whether this chapter with her ends in reconciliation or a final goodbye, The real victory lies in how you have conducted yourself throughout. Did you maintain your dignity? Did you grow as a person? Did you stay true to your values? If you can answer yes, then you have absolutely won. You've won yourself back, which is far more important than winning someone else back. In the end, it comes down to this: your silence, your growth, and your transformation define you, not whether or not she decides to reach out. When you look in the mirror, you want to be proud of the way you handled this, proud that you stayed strong. If she calls you up, that's just the cherry on top. You've already baked the cake of your own improvement. So stand tall, rise above this moment, and use it. Use it to become better, to become smarter, to become more compassionate and resilient. You are not here to wait on another person's decision. You are here to thrive, with or without them. That mindset is liberating. It takes you out of a victim role and puts you firmly in the driver's seat of your life. Finally, remember this mantra as you move forward. Your silence is your strength, and your power lies within. The ability to hold your tongue, to master your impulses, and to focus on your own path is a superpower in life. Not everyone can do it, but you can. Every time you choose patience over panic, self-improvement over self-pity, you are choosing power over reaction. And that makes all the difference. Stay strong. Stay grounded. Embrace the silence for what it can give you. And as always, choose power over reaction. Your story is still being written. Make sure you hold the pen